and it's not Leave It to Beaver over here.
No,
that's for sure. And it gets tough, and we battle to be where we're at. And we still have a lot of battles left, a lot of mountain tops to get to and valleys to go into and mountaintops to get to. And the coolest thing is that we're wise enough at this point to know that there's storms brewing and there's mountains and there's sunshine. And it's really fun to look at it that way because we're never there, right?
Welcome to Black Belt Beauty Radio, a podcast fueled by a passion to support your journey in developing your most beautiful and optimal performance in life. Each episode is driven with the intention to elevate your mind. When we elevate our mind, we elevate our life. So get ready. It's time to rise.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Black Belt Beauty Radio. You guys, I have got a very special guest to share with you today. My guest is Kerri Thomas Jennings. Casey is the homie, man. He is the loving husband to my very best friend, Kerri Walsh Jennings, and just a dope human being, you guys. So, man, okay, there's so much to say about him. I'm really excited to have him on the podcast. Our conversation was epic, and it's very, it's special to be able to launch this episode with him the week of Father's Day because, you know, he's a lot of amazing things. One of the most undeniable amazing things about Casey that I have come to witness is, you know, who he is as a father, you know, the way he is with his kids. It's just, it's remarkable. It's so impressive. So I think it's just rad to start this Father's Day week with one of the greatest fathers in the world. Okay, so there's a lot to say. I want to give you a little bit of backstory before I hit play on our conversation. So Casey played Pro Beach Volleyball for about 15 years, and he's still competing pro tournaments, but he's also in this really rad career transition, which I think will be really fun for you guys to listen in on in our conversation. Lots of inspiration there, lots of realness. He's an entrepreneur. He and Kerri, you know, founded P1440. And for those of you who are not familiar yet, P1440 is an event series and digital platform that's dedicated to taking the sport of volleyball to the next level, beach volleyball. So they're really doing it, man. They're doing it with all their heart, everything they've got. It's just been so amazing and inspiring to watch it go from an idea to where it is now. And it's still in the very beginning stages, which is mind-blowing. So many big things coming. Okay, so he's also officially a podcast host as of this month. He's launching his podcast called Starting Point on Father's Day, you guys. So make sure that you start listening in on that, subscribe to that. He's got a lot of rad shit to talk about. That is for sure. He is a loving father of 3. So they've got, Scout, Joey, and Sundance. Love their kids. And like I said at the very start, he's the loving husband to my girl, Kerri Walsh Jennings. You know, he's a very unique blend of passion. He's certainly one of the most exciting volleyball players you can watch, hands down. But he's also like this laid back Cali surf vibe guy that just makes it really easy and fun to be around him, truly. He grew up in one of my favorite cities, Las Vegas, and he possesses a very high level of like street smart awareness. And it stems mostly from being raised by his 4 older brothers, or 5 brothers, so gnarly, while their mom, you know, worked really hard to see that she could provide for all of her boys. It's something that I very much feel connected to because there was so much in my life that was similar there. So, you know, his journey is rad. He's truly carved out his own unique path in life through his love for sport. And that is what eventually took him to Southern California, where he would meet Kerri, where they would fall in love and start their life journey together as a very powerful unit. Man, there's been a lot of adversity in his life too. And, you know, even in his darkest hours, he inevitably would choose to keep learning, keep reaching, keep growing, and just try to become a better version of himself for his own personal health, and for his relationship with Kerri and their family. It's powerful, man. It's a privilege. It's a privilege to be able to witness how he and Kerri do their life together. It's hard. It's romantic. It's raw. It's inspired. It's constantly evolving. And in my opinion, it is what real love and dedication to a unified vision as partners is all about. So you guys, I can go on, but I'm going to hit play and let you take in this rad human that is Kerri Jennings. Enjoy. It's happening.
Ba-da-boom.
What's up, dude?
What's up, Rox? Happy Sunday. Happy Mother's Day to you, because I know you'll be a great mother, and you will be one day.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I sent a message to your incredible, what do you call her? You just fucking everything.
She's the golden dragon. She's 6 feet of sunshine. And she's a firecracker.
She is a firecracker.
Yeah.
I don't think she gives herself enough credit in that realm. Like,
oh, everyone thinks she's so sweet and inspiring.
Right,
I'm like,
don't
oh,
get it twisted, yo.
no,
She's
not.
like,
She'll bite your face off, tell you to shut up.
right. For real. It's really funny, but like, it'll feel, yeah, I sent her a message. And I told her that if I ever get to be a mommy one day, it's on the record that my badassery in being a mom, because of course I'll have to be a badass mom, has totally been influenced by witnessing her be a mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's incredible.
Yes, she does a good job. Good mommy. It's a special day today. She had to leave yesterday, but we had a great Mother's Day yesterday.
You did?
Yeah, it was
that
awesome.
A big day.
Her mom was here, Sundance First Communion, and then we were just all together.
Yeah.
You know,
sister.
Not all the family, but yeah, Casey was here, her sister.
Like 100 of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys are such a sick tribe. I love you.
We had a small crew, but it was strong crew.
So we were kind of talking, trying not to before I hit record, but you said something pretty rad and interesting and classic right before she left. You guys, like, she was leaving.
Oh yeah, I said, hey, I love you, go kick some butt, kick some ass, we'll be here, hold down the fort, everything's good, see you in 2 weeks, love you. And the Uber's out front, and she's like, no honey, it's 3 weeks. And I looked at her, I was like, oh damn, I can do 2 weeks pretty eyes closed. 3 weeks it starts to get like, oh man, might need to call a sitter in for a day or two.
Yeah.
But I don't usually do that because it's not hard. It's just you need to do it for yourself so that you reset, so that you're better at what you're doing. But no, she's gone for 3 weeks, which is gnarly. And then she's home for a week and gone for, it's just nonstop. Yeah, she's gone.
This is the year.
Yeah, this is it. This is where we lock it down and it's go time.
This is going to be the 5th Olympics, right? Like, this is your journey together.
This will be her 6th Olympics.
Damn it. Okay.
But it's hard to keep track because she did 1 indoor. So it'll be her 4. Right. She did 4 on the beach. 1 indoor first, 4 on the beach, and now she's going for her 5th on the beach, which will be her 6th Olympic total. Which
is so gnarly. You guys are, you're the most impressive, ridiculously inspiring team. I gotta tell you, I'm driving over here and I'm traveling tomorrow, going to your hometown, Vegas. Yep, I love Vegas. And I'm stacked today. Like, to be honest, I almost feel like I'm failing today. And I was thinking about, this happens a lot too. I'll think of Kerri, like, we were here the other day, like, working, and she's got like everything stacked on everything, but it gets done. And you guys do such a beautiful dance of like handling the fullness of your life, with style. Not saying that it's all easy and it's always like super composed, but like, you handle it, you do it beautifully. So I was thinking of her, and then I was thinking of you and all the things that you have to handle, especially when she's away, entrepreneur, not pro anymore, but still an athlete for life,
Yeah, I certainly haven't retired. I want to play a couple more pro events and see if I can win. So I'm still training. I'm soggy right now.
That because that confused me, because I'm like, wait, but he still does compete, but
no, I would say, I mean, I wouldn't call myself a professional, because a professional makes a living at the job. If you're a professional athlete, that's your job. I was for, I don't know, 15 years and kicking ass and loving it. Yeah. And now I'm in the next stage where I'm switching professions. And it's really cool. It's really hard, but the family thing keeps everything intact. You could have the worst day on the planet. You pick your kids up from school and they're like, "What's up, Dad? Hey, Dad. Hi, Dad." And you're like, "How you guys doing?" And it's like your day just started and it's like 2:33 p.m. You know, it's so rad.
What I love about that is that I know, as a privileged insider, that everything you're saying is so real. And a lot of times I think that when we're so focused on, you know, the weight of career life, I mean, you and Kerri started P1440, right? So you've got this whole huge, big project on your hands. And in addition to having 3 kids, and again, like just being consistent in your lifestyle and your habits as an athlete. And for a lot of times having the family part can almost feel like, I don't want to say like it's more pressure and more weight, but it's harder. But for you to say that's like your fresh breath of air.
Yeah.
Not saying that there's no challenge in that, but that's rad. And I love it because I know it's true with you.
Yeah, it's really fun. You can have the worst day, I'm telling you, and then I pick my kids up. But yeah, every single day at some point in the day, don't you get on the phone with someone and they're like, "What's up? How you doing?" And the first thing that most of us want to say, and I do too, I'm guilty of it, is, "I'm so tired." Yeah. And I'm so tired of saying, I'm done saying that. I don't want to say I'm tired anymore. I don't want to say, "Oh man, I'm so busy." Yeah. Who isn't, dude?
Like I say I've said this on the podcast. You're never gonna fucking hear me say, "I'm busy." I can't deal with that. I mean, sometimes people just say that because, not to say it's not true, but it like makes them feel good,
busy,
you know?
Makes them feel busy.
We're all busy and then we die. So fucking that,
everyone's busy. I tell that. You see people, you're just like, we're doing it, man. Are you doing it with a smile or are you doing it grumpy? It's all how you're doing it. And so I'm trying to do it with a smile. I'm getting better at it.
What do you do on days like, on days where you feel like you're kind of just failing, where like the days just bite you in the ass, kind of like mine up until the point where I got here, because I did breathe before I came in. Yeah. What's your self-talk like?
I shut it down. I try to think about, it's with kids, it's different because you're kind of held accountable for the way they respond in the future for them, for their own lives. And so they mirror you to a certain degree. So the thing that really helps me is, how do I want to approach this situation and do the best that I can, because it's weighed on my children and the way they're going to go through these situations. And so it's different. It's a different ball game, and it's awesome because you should do that for yourself anyway. You should be thinking that for yourself, like, how do I want to handle this the best way? But so sometimes I just pull the plug, shut everything off, and I go up in my room and the kids will be playing, and I'll just take like 15-20 minutes and I'll just lay there and just breathe or kick it and just think about like something. I do that. I did it yesterday because Kerri left, and it was a pretty emotional day for the kids. They started fighting or just little arguments. Then they were hungry. So I made them some food, and then I went upstairs and needed to take a breath and was like, all's good. Kerri, she's gone for 3 weeks. We gotta handle this, you guys. So
hold down the fort.
Yeah. And it's people are like, "Oh, do you have family to help?" They're not, but they would be here in a heartbeat if I needed anybody, and you're down the street. Yeah.
Hand-raised.
Yeah, no, I think I just shut everything down, turn the phone off, TV off, and just maybe it's some music and just kick it, breathe for a second, reset.
Do you feel like that's something you've gotten better at over the years, being a father, being a husband, being an entrepreneur, being an athlete? Like, is it something that you're kind of continuously, because your load is just getting heavier, right? Like with everything. So it's like, it's beautiful. There are layers that stem from passion, love, and vision. So it's not like, layers that you don't want necessarily, but it's still weight, it's responsibility. So do you feel like you're progressively getting better at knowing how to reset and?
Yeah, for sure. I think that with Kerri, the way that she is, I really was like against the grain on that, as far as like, slow down, stop, don't say yes to everything. You can't do 15 podcasts in 5 days, or,
She's like, yes, I can.
pick. And she's, no, honey, I have to do this. And before I said, what I'm really trying to do is to just go with the flow more.
Yeah.
And just be like, it's all good. She chose to do that. I'm not going to give her any grief for that. The best way we learn we're our own worst critic. So, she's going to either see that was too much time taken out of my life, and she'll reset next time she comes back around, and is going to be like, I don't want to do that. So I'm going to leave it in her hand. I'll give her a little bit of help where she needs it. But yeah, before I would bang my head against the bricks, just like, and try to get her to do it the way I would do it. And now it's a little more like, well, I'm going to cushion it. And then let the water go down river for the most part, but it's in my own nature to sometimes go against the grain. Whereas I want people to see my side of it, or understand. Look at this shot from over here, because we can't all see our movie play out.
Right.
So it's good to give that initial, like, hey, might be too much, this is going on, but now there's plenty for me to do. So I don't have time to check her and make sure she's making all the right decisions, and neither does she on me.
Yeah.
So we got to just believe and trust in each other, that one's doing the best they can do on their end, and then come together and bring it together and have a nice little dinner.
Dinner.
Potluck. It's potluck.
I mean,
you bring your dish, I'll bring mine, and let's put them together, and it's going to be
cute.
awesome.
That's so rad. I mean, I feel like you guys do a great job at that, and I feel like I'm witnessing just you guys are just getting better at it. And ultimately, I mean, it's trusting that you're both paying attention. Yeah, like with what you just said, it's like you're kind of just trusting that she's gonna, if there was something that needed to be adjusted, I don't need to tell you, because you're gonna feel it, because you see it, and because while you're doing all this, you're still paying attention to what's happening within our
the dynamic of our family. Sure. Yeah, for sure. There's no like point checking. There's none of that. I don't do that.
Yeah.
We do. I think we do a good job with that. Nobody's judging the other one or saying you're whatever. It's
you're a real team.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys are all athletes.
Yeah.
So what's like I don't know if you can, this might be an asshole question, but what's a typical day look like for you? Because I know it's always changing.
Yeah. It depends when Kerri's home.
Sure.
If Kerri's home, I will sleep like 2 more minutes longer every single time, and try to stay in bed till like 7:15, because she's getting up at 6, or she's down there at 6:30.
Yeah.
And then I take the kids to school usually, or she'll take one of them, I'll take 2, but and then it's so crazy because I don't have a set.
Yeah, I know. That's why it's kind of an asshole question.
It just depends. If I like to get my workout in first. Mm-hmm. I like to. That doesn't happen near as often as I want to. So, say on a Monday, Kerri goes to practice. I drop the boys. I sprint to Hawthorne, and I teach social emotional learning on Mondays. I teach 7th graders, 7th grade kids that are preparing. Actually, it's like a college course class. These kids are really good. I've had some really tough classes. And I think that the program that I work for, PS I Love You, thought that I was possibly not going to do it next year. and they gave me this class, and it's so funny because it worked out perfect. I was getting a little frustrated that I wasn't making a difference in these kids' lives, and I can't imagine how teachers feel out there.
How do you know that you're not making a difference?
When you talk to them and you're teaching them the things that you're teaching them, the engagement, the lack of engagement, the lack of enthusiasm, and then you go to a class a week later. I'll go to Watts sometimes and teach there on Wednesdays with my friend Patricia Jones, and these kids are just like, Mr. Jennings, what's up? And so you get that feeling of you're making a difference by giving them some information that they might not have. So anyway, I'll go teach those kids. I love it. I hope that I never stop doing it.
Yeah. Sounds amazing.
It's such a killer course. There's 12 lessons that we teach. You teach everything from discipline to empathy. You teach them about, there's so many different lessons. Integrity, the importance to look someone in the eye and shake their hand. How to shake hands is something as simple as that. Social skills, yeah, all kinds of. Such a fun class for me to teach, and I learned, like everyone knows, the teacher learns more than anybody because you're the one doing it, you're involved. But it's such a rewarding class, and I do get so much out of it. And there's never been a time where I don't leave with something. Even on my worst days, I'm like, man, I got a lot out of that. In case they didn't, I did. So selfishly get something out of it. But from there, I'll go and get on the phone, conference call, or talk to P1440 or somebody and touch base and see what's going, what I need to do. I've started my own podcast, so I'm working on all kinds of stuff. With that, I'm working on the name of it, the artwork, the intro. I'll be done this week.
So exciting.
Yeah.
So excited. I think you're just going to love it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. And then I go to practice. I'll meet my coach for an hour and a half. And then if I can lift or whatever errands I can run in between there, and then it's pickup time, go pick the kids up. And then everything shuts off. No, you could handle that with your eyes closed. But then I pick the kids up, and that's when the day, it seems to really, like, it's almost like 2 days in one, because you pick the kids up and then it's like, go home, feed them, or I've already made them lunch, take it to them, bringing their baseball gear in the car or soccer, get dressed, drop them off, make sure they've eaten. Sometimes I'll bring weights to the practices and I'll lift there. Mm-hmm. And then either Scout doesn't have practice or somebody doesn't have practice, so I hang with them and run around and we play games or whatever it is. And then bring them home, and then we get homework done. And then we'll play in the backyard or do something fun, or they will, and I'll get on a call or do some work. FaceTime Kerri if she's not in town. Bath, bed, brush your teeth. Bath, brush your teeth, and bed. And reset for the next day.
Dude, I'm in fat burning mode.
No, it's so rad. It's
rad, but it's like, it's so dope too. I mean, there's so many things about it that's amazing. But it would be so easy. And honestly, let's be real. I think it's very common that when you have 9, 8, and 6, right?
Yeah.
That's okay. So these are very active. I need attention. I mean, they have each other, but it's like they're very active, right? Your kids are active.
Yeah, that's the hardest part about it. The emotional part of it. It's not the getting the baseball gear and getting the snacks to them, even though you're just like, well, holy crap. But you make it an art. That stuff you can turn into kind of an art.
Yeah.
Make a sandwich, get some chips or something good or healthy, some hard-boiled eggs and Cholula, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Race that to them and get the uniforms. Those are like tasks that you can knock out and check off the box and be like nailing that right now. The toughest part about having children and that aspect of it is the emotional part of it.
Yeah.
The component that comes with it is that it's, there's 3 kids asking you questions. That's one of the gnarliest things.
Well, and I was going to say that I feel that it's so much easier and so often done these days that it's like, put the screen in front, whether it's the phone, the TV, or whatever. But the point that I'm trying to get to is that you're just so engaged with
Yeah.
all that you just expressed that you're going through, that you've already, accomplished in your day, which, is this, it's mind and body work, right? Which is exhausting, like in a beautiful way. It's a good kind of tired, right? But then to be so engaged with your kids, even towards the tail end of it, especially, right? It's kind of gnarly. Instead of, doing what I think the majority, are doing right now, where it's like, okay, I need to focus. I need me time, and I need to.
Yeah.
So screen it up.
Screen it up.
You and I both we're like 2 years apart, I think, in age, or 3, I think, and so we come from the time, and I'm very proud of this. I know you are too, but like we played outside until it got dark.
Oh,
After that, maybe even, I don't know, maybe it was different for you in Vegas. We'll go back there. City of Lights.
Yeah.
I grew up in LA, but and I also come from, I got 3 brothers and a sister, and it was dope because these were like the homies, and I was playing outside with them, and we're building things and playing in the dirt, and it's just not what's happening anymore. It happens in this household, though.
Yeah.
You guys you do such a great job, both of you, of making sure that you're engaged and that your kids are connected with nature, connected with each other. Like they love each other. They're tight homies too.
Yeah.
So it's, that's what I'm saying. It's so impressive and inspiring. It could be, there's a lot of ways to revere you and Kerri, both of you, like the athlete, all the things that you guys have accomplished on a career level, on a human level. But then, I think it's just so powerful to witness how you are raising your kids too, on top of it all.
Mm-hmm.
Sick. Take your kids on, what are the camping trips that you go on? You go on like some gnarly, you go on walkabouts. You got one coming up with your brothers.
Oh yeah. We're going on a
walkabout.
But yeah, we are not gamified in this house. We have a Pac-Man in the garage with some Donkey Kong on it, but I don't even know when they play it. Once a month, they'll ask me, they'll wander out there, but
I love that it's Pac-Man too, by the way.
Yeah, it's old school.
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
It's old school. And they,
so much style.
I think it's really difficult, not to put anyone out in that situation, because it is really hard to put that time and focus in and to give your kids that attention and not say, because I think there's 2 sides of it. There's people that don't give themselves enough attention, and you can go into a depression, that side of it, because you're not getting any stimulation on your end as far as like you going out and doing something or working out. And then there's the parents that get too much stimulation, and they're going to Sharky's on a Thursday, and
Sure.
the kid has a project Friday, and the wife's taking care of it, or the dad, whichever one is doing it. But Sharky's is a bar down the street in Hermosa in Manhattan, if you don't know. But I think that it's it's just like anything, the happy medium of balancing that act of being able to be around your kids, but also give yourself your own time to go and do things for you and to breathe, and that's hard.
Yeah.
Because one and the other is exhausting, both,
Sure.
So that's my work. It's really fun. It's cool to challenge myself to be on a schedule. I really like it. I like I know that that's one of the most important things for a child, is to be on a schedule.
Yeah.
And so I am a bit of a hypocrite when it comes to scheduling for myself, but my kids are on a good, nice, tight regimen.
Why do you know that? Was that because of your child? Because you grew up in Vegas. Let's go back there for a moment, because single mom, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Cocktail waitress, work the night shift.
Mm-hmm.
You and your pack of brothers.
4 older brothers. I'm the
So
baby.
nerdy.
I'm the youngest of 5 boys. So there's 4 older brothers in front of me. Mom worked graveyard.
Yeah. So you weren't on a schedule.
No way.
Exactly.
Come home every day, throw the bag in the house so my mom would know that I came home. But she would either be crashed out. The older I got, she wasn't a cocktail waitress after like 13, but she had her own business and she still worked like a dog. Yeah. And so she wasn't home. So still, I would throw my backpack in the house. There was no schedule. The only schedule I was on was sports. And I took care of that schedule. So there was a bus after school to go to soccer practice. There was a bus there was a gym where I went to at school for volleyball practice. And those were the things that saved my life for sure.
So your love for sport kind of, because obviously to be an athlete, discipline needs to be applied.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
And so do you feel like you gained your level of discipline from being an athlete from a young kid all the way to today, right now? Like,
yeah.
Give you a credit. Yeah.
Yeah, because, well, sports are fun. That's how when you first play a sport or a game, it's really fun. Yeah. And then it gets fucked up somewhere along the line as being, you gotta, who puts the more time in? Well, yeah, that's right. But still make it fun. Like, I loved it so much, and I did put the most time in high school, and, but I didn't put the most time into school. So I was ineligible for my junior year, which gut checked me really fast. It hurt for both soccer and volleyball. But the disciplinary side of being an athlete, that you're not going to be as good as the other guys that are bigger, stronger, faster than you if you don't do the work, scared me. Yeah. And I wish that it had scared me in school. First and foremost, I teach my kids how fun learning is. So all of the things that I didn't get or didn't have or didn't see on my own as a kid, it's not a crutch. It's more like, ooh, dude, I know how to spin this. I know that if I teach my kids that learning is fun, it will be fun for the rest of their lives. School might be boring sometimes. It might be tough grinding through, sure. But never is learning. Learning is the greatest thing on this earth. And you're learning sports, and I tell my kids, look, you ain't going to learn sports if you can't learn school, because you can't do sports without school. And the smartest athletes are the best athletes. So one goes with the other. And so we make learning fun. My kids aren't afraid to read, which makes me cry, because they've, without a doubt, Scout is 6. I won't put her in there yet. Mm-hmm. But Joey and Sundance, without a doubt, individually have read more books than I have in my life. And they're really? Not, without a doubt. And not because it's like, it's this different world that they're in where reading is fun. Like, They're like, Dad, look at this. Every week on Tuesday, Dad, look at the book I checked out. Check this book out. That's so cool. And they'll throw it up in the front, and then you'll see them reading it on the way to school, at home, at different times. They go find it every night in bed. Yeah. Sundance is reading his book. So
it's so true. It's how you frame it. Because I can tell you, my father, for, like next level intelligent, USC grad, engineer, the whole thing, like super smart. Not the best dad, but I'm not going to take away his intelligence. I'm
sure,
grateful. And he made learning something, it looked so interesting. I mean, I was reading reading in quotations, the encyclopedia in like the 3rd grade, right? But just really going through it and being kind of like, whoa, what's this? And I've been reading my whole life. I love reading. But I know, as you're saying this to me, it's coming to my mind. So I'm sharing it that, my dad being so smart, and he spoke in riddles, and he's super into philosophy, and so are we now. It really does come down to how your parents, I think, your environment growing up, how things are being framed. It's not surprising to me that, that the boys would have, it's impressive. Just to say what you said, but the fact that you guys are framing learning in this way, I think, is lending to their joy of it.
Yeah, it's fun.
Their pursuit.
It's so fun to tell them, like, that is so incredible, dude. Tell me more about your book that you're reading. It's little things like that I think that the engagement and the support allows them to see, like, they feel this confidence of like, my mom or dad wants to know about this book, and then they're teaching you, like, well, Dad, the California king snake actually originally came from Mexico, and they'll tell me facts about it that I don't know, and we're super into reptiles, and I'm like, dude, that is so cool. Tell me more about it. Like, here, tell me, like, the next day. And you stay engaged with them. And I really look forward to seeing how they develop in the future as far as respect, discipline, and all of these things that we're trying to implement. And I don't look at it as teaching so much as information.
Sure.
And inspiration, right?
Yeah, well, you guys are leading by example.
Sometimes.
No, but I mean, come on. You guys are crushing it. You know, there's no such thing as perfection. You're doing the best you can. There's such a sense of well-roundedness and ultimately you guys are a real unit. And that's, I mean, listen, to me, no matter where you might feel like you're coming up short, if you feel that way in some areas, it's like, as you know this, it's like when you come from a pack, a family that's united, that is invaluable for the rest of your life. Like, let me frame it like this. Whatever I'm going through in my life that challenges me, to feel the unity that I have with my family, not saying we all get along all the time, but the fucking unity. There's a difference, right?
For sure.
It's the greatest weapon that I have. It's my strongest tool. It's, so whether mom could have done it better in some ways or not, or dad or whatever, the unity factor that has been consistently like engaged with our family it's serving to be the most powerful tool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, family's so important. It really is. It's I hope it's something that the kids cling to for the rest of their lives, but they're also able to stand on their own individually. And it is absolutely no cakewalk around here. I mean, there's, I would want people to know that sometimes I think on Instagram or on social media, it can look like this perfect picture of, and my big side of things is the contrast in different things and all of the process of it and how difficult it is. I want people to know there's a lot of pain. There's doors that get slammed around here sometimes. There's some, arguments, and it's not leave it to beaver over here. No, that's for sure. And it gets tough, and we battle to be where we're at. And we still have a lot of battles left, a lot of mountain tops to get to and valleys to go into and mountaintops to get to. And the coolest thing is that we're wise enough at this point to know that there's storms brewing and there's mountains and there's sunshine. And, it's really fun to look at it that way, 'cause we're never there, right?
Never there.
We're never going to be there.
For more there. And
but we're going to try to get there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you are.
Every day.
Every day. You guys, I think, there's no way. You have to live it to know how to be in this position that you're at right now, to recognize, oh shit, here comes a storm. All right, everybody brace yourself. Okay. What you gotta
or
do,
go with it.
Or go with it. Exactly.
Let it take you, let it blow you around. It's going to set you down somewhere.
I feel like, and so it's like, but again, I think, you're either a team or you're not. And that becomes very obviously revealed when shit goes down. In your relationship, you guys have had shit go down. You've had shit go down in your personal life. There's there's been things that have been, it hasn't been a fucking cakewalk.
No.
It's still not, like you
said, and it never will be.
It never will be. But you're holding hands the whole way through it.
Yeah.
Which is, it's badass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. It's cool. It's been crazy. It's been a crazy journey. Kerri always says, when you feel like running away from each other, run towards each other.
Yeah, I've heard that. It's so good.
That's you're not easy.
That is not easy.
Sometimes you're like, imagine. No, I'm going to start jogging towards you slowly. Chariots of Fire, slow motion jog.
Chariots of Fire.
But it's a good point. It's something to remember, because everyone feels that way at some point with their spouse or their girlfriend or boyfriend or fiance, whatever it is. You feel like, what am I doing? And then you just got to take a breath, relax, and figure out what you're doing.
How is challenge there's been a lot of challenge in your life, right? I mean, again, like, I'm sure your childhood years, mom being at work, essentially kind of raising yourself on your own, you and your brothers, right? Would you say that?
I mean, yeah, in the neighborhood. No, but yeah, like my mom could have been on food stamps and then read books to us every night, but instead she went and made money so we'd have shoes on the next day, and lunch money. You know, some weeks was hot and some weeks it was cold, like you didn't have any. And you know, our struggles were less than some of my friends, and some of my friends' struggles were a lot harder than mine. And if you looked at the numbers wise, but yeah, no, we had to raise ourselves to a certain degree. I had four older brothers that I told you before, like, you know, they said, put that spoon in the dishwasher or I'm going to stick it in your ass. And you're like, no, I'm going to put the spoon in this little basket right here. Yeah. Should I put the plate in there too, big brother? Or on some nights it was like, oh, really? You think you can pull that off, huh? And then they'd be like, oh yeah, you don't think I can? You'd be like, well, that spoon is not going in my ass. And they'd be like, watch this. And then you challenge and you're fighting each other, you know? There was a lot of fights.
Yeah, I mean, you're pretty passionate.
Yeah.
I
would say.
I'm searching, and there's such an alignment with us there. I'm like, what would I call myself? Because I feel like there's a lot of similarities, like even in the upbringing with the kids at home and the way we were with each other. And you know, I'm certainly passionate, and I think everybody in my family is. And I think it's a gift to have siblings who, you know, you guys keep it real and you check each other. And, you know, there's times where you're going to kick each other's ass, but then you told me a story that I got to pull this out of you because I just think it's so sick. I want you to share the time that you got cut. We're going back really quick. Because,
oh, yeah.
Yeah, because the brother part, like...
Oh yeah, it was awesome. So I came out to California when I was 16 and played in like a club tournament where these junior college, Division I college coaches were there watching, and we all knew it. So we're playing California teams, and you're in your own levels. There's A, B, and C levels. So we would play in the C level, say, the worst level, or the B level. And you go into the other gyms, and I would look around, and I saw these monsters playing, and they're my age or younger. And I'm like, holy shit. But I'm like, I can play with those dudes. That was my first thought. My first thought wasn't like, oh my gosh, that's so-and-so or anything. My first thought was always like, I can ball with those guys.
Where do you think that thought came from?
4 brothers.
But I felt that would have been the answer, but I just wanted...
Yeah. They're like, always told me like, dude, my brother smokes me a basketball in the backyard 10-1. And his buddy said, did you just beat your brother that's 7 years old, younger than you, 10-1 at basketball? And he goes, yeah, I did. And he goes, why would you do that? And he said, because when my little brother plays your little brother, he's going to kick his ass. And I did.
Yo.
And I did. So dudes my age, you know, were not tough for me to handle unless they were tough for me to handle. I mean, but for the most part, I played older kids all the time. And then, so this coach recruits me to come to California. He says, I'll get you residency. We'll enroll you in school. You can live with your buddy that plays golf and your other buddy that plays football from these other schools I'm talking to. I was like, whoa, dude, this guy's done his legwork. He knows my buddies. So he recruits us. I jump in the car with $200 in my pocket left over from my graduation money, which was about $2,800 at first. And I spent 1 week in Vegas, and I gambled and drank for like 6 days and spent that money down to $200, which I was supposed to take.
Dang.
Yeah.
Wait, so what, how old are you?
Idiot.
Yeah.
17. I graduated high school June. And so I jump in the car with whatever's left, scraps, couple checks left, and $200 cash. And I go to this school because he recruited us. And I remember me and my buddies drank the night before, and we said, look, let's do this. Let's get for real and let's become professionals. Let's kick some ass. We have an opportunity here. So the first week goes by. We're playing like a couple skimpy drills that have nothing to do with 6-on-6 volleyball. And then the next week we play 2-on-2, which is not reflecting your skills with 6-on-6 on the court. And then the end of the second week comes around and I'm in the gym and the coach says, hey, Jennings, come here, buddy. And I jump off the bleachers. I'm like, what's up? He said, I'm sorry, I got to let you go, man. And I said, you got to let me go? What do you mean? Are you cutting me? And he goes, yeah. And I had just started to bro out with some of the guys that I had met that were from Southern California. Most of them were Southern California. Yeah. And I said, you haven't even seen me play yet. And he said, I'm sorry, man. I got a 6'4" guy coming. At the time, I'm 5'10", 5'11", 165 pounds. And I'm so mad. I look at him. I said, you know what? You haven't seen me play. Now I'm going to play against you on the other side of the net, and I'm going to beat you. And I ran out of the gym, and as soon as I hit the door that has that long bar at the bottom of it, when you push it, it opens. As soon as I hit that lever, I'll never forget that it was like a button on my eyeballs, and the water and tears just started flowing out. And I ran out. I had my bag on my shoulder, and I sprinted all the way home and just mad, angry. I don't even remember if I was breathing hard as looking back on it. I walk in the house. There's a big bag of dope on the table, marijuana, that my roommates and I had, and we were kind of just doing the college thing. And I looked at it, I said, I'm done. I'm done with that shit. I'm done with drinking. I have to go somewhere. And the bus is going to leave without me if I don't get there. And I called my brother. He lived in Ontario, which is an hour and a half, 2 hours from here. It's inland and south. And I said, Troy, and he's like getting ready for law school or going to it down there. And he says, what's up? I said, dude, I got cut. And he said, what? And I'll never forget, because he said, are you crying? I said, yeah. He said, well, first of all, stop crying. And you know that school in Huntington Beach that you wanted to go to? Call them and call another school after that. Can you play with these guys? I said, yeah, I can. He goes, good. Get on the phone and make some calls and call some people that know what they're doing. I called them, left a message to this coach, call my brother back. The coach calls me back. He says, what's up? I got my team already, but I'll give you a tryout. You have to be here at 6 a.m. tomorrow, and we'll give you a scrimmage. You can scrimmage. So the position I play as a quarterback, as a volleyball player, the quarterback is the setter. I throw the ball around the court for guys to hit really hard. And I call my brother. I said, look, dude, I don't have a car. I got a skateboard and there's a bus, and maybe I can figure out the route to get me to Huntington Beach, even though I'm in Long Beach, which is going to be tough. I'm going to leave at 4 a.m. He goes, look, I'll drive there, pick you up and take you. And I said, cool. He picks me up in the morning and we're late. We walk into the gym. My hair is as long as yours is right now. And it's in a bun or like a ponytail. And I roll into the gym and the coach says, you're late, start warming up. And there's 20 guys around the court and they're all, checking me out. And I'm jogging around the court. It finally gets us all in a huddle after we stretch. I don't know anyone. And he says, we're going to give Jennings a tryout today. We're going to let him set for this team, and you guys are going to play against them. Here's the team. Split us up, threw us on the court. In the meantime, my older brother is 6 years older than me, Troy. My oldest brother is the one that said I beat my brother 10-1, Chad. So Troy is on the sidelines over here, and he says, he's watching.
Yeah. And
so I do the scrimmage. We win. We dominate on this other team, and the coach pulls us into a huddle and he says, all right, let's welcome Jennings to the team. Jennings, congratulations. Just want to tell you, would like you to cut your hair. I was like, no problem.
Oh, yeah.
No, I was like, shit, I got places to go.
Yeah, you were in
I was like, let's get down. So made the team. And we smoked that team that cut me. And thank God that he cut me.
Good feeling.
Because if I went to that school and he would have taught me volleyball, I would have got my ass kicked. Probably would have partied for the next 4 or 5 years. And I don't know what I'd be doing today. So thank God that he cut me, sent me down the street to Golden West to an awesome coach that I still talk to today.
Rad.
And it was a blessing. And I got a scholarship to a Division I. We won a national championship.
So sick.
And went to the beach. And next chapter, met my wife.
No. Where's the popcorn?
That was a...
But that was, hold on, okay, really quick. We have to just talk about that one for 1 second. Because how rad of your brother, how, you know, the closeness that you felt and how he was like, hold on, stop crying. Like, we're gonna make this happen.
And he was not kidding. He was serious.
Like,
he was like, what are you doing? Shut up. Basically, shut up, get your shit together and start kicking some ass because I know you can. It was never like, don't talk to me like that. We were past that, right?
Yeah.
So when I walked out of the gym and we were walking next to each other, I'll never forget. And he goes, that was one of the fucking coolest things I've ever seen, dude. You walked into that gym and straight balled out.
Yeah.
He was like, you balled out and you knew none of those guys and you were not nervous and you were a leader because quarterback you got to be. So it's one of those things, Rox, where when I got on the court in soccer or basketball or volleyball or whatever it was, I was always like, it was like I put my superhero outfit on. Now I could be me. It was the coolest thing.
Where do you think that came from? Just like...
I didn't have, I don't know. I didn't have it in school.
Yeah.
So I just was so lucky to find it playing sports.
It was just like a real passion. The passion put you in that position to feel that way, right?
Yeah. I could make noise there. I could be myself. I could be a leader, but I could also be a team leader. Yeah. I had peers. I had people that we were on the same level. I was on the same level with. And in class, I was hiding. Do not call on me, and if you do, I'm giving you a one-word answer and I'm gonna get it right and I'm done. But I wouldn't get it right, or I'd later.
You feel like you're an introvert?
I was so shy, man.
Were, but not anymore.
When my parents split up, my grandma said I was 4 years old and my parents divorced, and she said it broke your heart. She said you became very quiet and reserved and closed up.
Interesting. Yeah,
and I got really shy, and when I was in the classroom, it was like, do not call on me. Wow. And I didn't cheat off other people's papers. Mm-hmm. I just did the bare minimum. Give me a B and get me out of here. And I would get C's. And then in high school, you're gonna pay because I'm not showing up.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not organized. I'm not disciplined. I'm going to school, but then I'm finding ways to ditch every chance I can.
It sounds like you were uninspired. It doesn't sound,
No, I didn't get it. I thought it was a job.
You didn't? Oh, yeah.
I thought education was a mandatory thing that was bullshit. That what am I doing here?
Were you kind of rebelling?
I didn't. No, I guess it just evolved into I'm not good at it. Why am I doing it?
Got it.
And I didn't understand the importance of education.
Yeah.
I didn't understand that it was important, even though people are like, what are you going to do? What are you going to get your degree in?
Hold on. I'm going to say this because maybe this is just for my own self.
Maybe.
No, because like I said, 3rd grade, what am I, 9 years old? And I'm, dad walks by, door's open. Good job, kid. Just reading the encyclopedia, right? But I was horrible in school. I struggled. I was like a C. I consider myself to be very, listen, I'm a geek. I study biology on Friday nights. Like, how can I know more about the brain? And, I love learning. I'm a curious fucking human, right? But where I'm going with this is that school, especially in our time, I think things are a little different, maybe moving in a better direction, but everyone's so different. The way that we respond, the things that inspire us. I can say this, my favorite classes were the ones where they weren't monotone. There was more engagement where when we were kind of engaging with each other more, like group sessions and stuff like that. Like, I like that interaction. But if it's just I don't remember learning anything, to be honest with you, straight up. I remember I think it was my history teacher at one point was like, what are you going to do? You know, move to Hawaii and eat bananas? I'm like, pretty much, definitely. And I did, literally.
What's your fallback?
Like, it's like, but the thing about it is just, you know, I don't think it's a matter of, I don't always think, I don't, how do I say this? I don't think that it's necessarily not seeing education as this great thing. It's the delivery too.
No, it is. You're right. And just thinking about that, I had a math teacher in a really hard algebra class that I got an A in. And I remember him taking my friend outside and pushing him against the wall. And this guy was hard. The reason he got pissed, my friend, was being a punk. But this guy really took the role. He made sure the attendance was taken care of first. Yeah. And then when you were there, he truly taught you, and he didn't let you get a C or a bad grade, even though kids did in there. Yeah. But I excelled because he was so disciplined oriented too. Mm-hmm. And that's crazy you say that, because I didn't understand how important education was. I understood what it was like to go home and dribble a basketball with my left hand because my right hand was really good. And my brother said, take the basketball and dribble around the court 100 times with your left hand and do layups with it. Now I do layups with my left hand better than my right. But the point is that when somebody gives you direction and cares about what they're teaching you, totally. And then I go into other classes where a teacher's like, why are you here? Yeah. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, you show up like 3 times a week. You have an F. Why? Because I walked in late. And I go, I don't know. And he goes, why are you here? And I go, I don't know. And I grabbed my bag and I walked out. Whereas the other teacher would have said, get your shit and explained it and made me pay for it in whatever way. So you're right. Sure. I think it's the way that it's presented. Teachers matter. And you can even feel one way about something or not even. You were being so honest, by the way. You're like, I actually really don't know. You want to help me out, teacher? I don't know why I'm in this chemistry class, because Please. I'm so into animals. I know more about animals and things. Well, yeah. That would be biology, but sure. Chemistry, we were learning things that are super interesting to me now. Right. And then I just didn't care, and whether it was the presentation or what, or maybe it was just knowing somebody gave a shit that you were doing well in the class. So when this teacher went out, the math teacher shoved my friend up against the wall. I knew at that age even that, dude, that guy's shoving you against the wall because he sees what a dumbass you're being. Yeah. Not because he's not prideful. Yeah. He wasn't being prideful. So I found him. Mm-hmm. I found him 8 years ago. So I'm 43. 8 years ago, I would have been graduated 23 years or whatever, 26 years. And I called that math teacher. I searched and destroyed, and I called him. Yeah. And I called him and said, you will not remember who I am. But I told him, I said, I am in the process of going to the Olympics. I'm the 3rd best team in America right now. I need to be 1 or 2. And I just wanted to call and find you and tell you that I remember you as a teacher and thank you. And that you inspired me. I got an A in all my other classes. I probably had D's and C's and an F here and there. That's so dope. It was a cool and he was super moved. Yeah. He was stoked, but he was just like how he is, super just one of those cool militant teachers. He was the basketball coach too. We had 4,500 kids at our school, so our basketball and sports were awesome. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Discipline is huge, and being accountable. When people hold you accountable, all the people that I've looked up to that have been mentors to me were very disciplined, and they held me accountable. And so those 2 things work very well for me. They stuck with you. And yeah. I mean, not only obviously is it just part of who you are, but it's also what you're expressing every day in front of your kids. Again, leading by example. So it's, influencing them too, which is rad. Yeah. So when you, what do you think the biggest lesson was? I'm just curious, in that moment where you got onto that new team and you're about to cut your hair, and what's the biggest thing that you learned about yourself in that moment, if you can remember? Oh man, that it just doesn't matter, dude. You walk into a room and you got it. Like, I didn't need catering to. My brother just made it like, let's ride, let's go. And like you said,
Facilitated.
yeah, he was a huge help in that. I probably wouldn't have made it to that tryout. I mean, I eventually would have somehow, somewhere. But no, he was a huge piece of the puzzle. And I think that, yeah, he for sure gave me confidence, but he gave me confidence from 150 miles away too. Like,
Right.
He didn't need to be there holding my hand. That's what got me in the door. And once I got in the door, I was by myself.
Yeah.
I mean, I was solo with those guys. Those guys all became buddies. We won a championship together. And I think that the lesson that I learned was you can ride solo and you can be prepared. I was very prepared. There's no question I was prepared for that moment. I was mean. I was a leader in high school, and my coach embraced that.
Yeah.
He loved it. I still talk to that high school coach. I tell him, you were the greatest thing that ever happened to me in my high school career, because when I did get cut, you made me go in the gym every day. You didn't cut me and say, you punk ass kid, you better be ready next year, because we won the championship my sophomore year. My junior year, I was ineligible. He held me accountable and said, not only are you ineligible and you're going to be in the gym every day with us training and taking stats at games on the bench, you're going to go and tell your peers are your teammates, if you don't know that, like,
Yeah.
sarcastically busting my balls. And I'm like, yeah. And he said, you're going to go in the gym right now and you're going to tell them that you're ineligible. Tough guy. So I had to go in the gym in front of all my teammates that we won. And he held me accountable. He let me go to practice, which kept me engaged in the game, because I would have been smoking more dope and drinking more than I was. And I was drinking and doing a lot of things I shouldn't have been.
While
And
you were kicking butt at that time too?
in high school.
Yeah,
like,
got it.
But if I wouldn't have been playing sports,
Yeah.
it would have taken 25% of my time. It would have been into the 75% of my time. And if he wouldn't have made me continue to stay on the team and engaged,
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have been back my senior year. Who knows? But I credit him was just hanging in there with me. It's part of the reason I want to work with kids, why I want to coach kids.
I was literally just thinking, yeah.
It's so fun. So you pay it back. Yeah, I want to instill those things in my kids, but I certainly don't want them to think. It's so cool because I get to tell them all the stories that I've had in my life, and then I get to tell them, but the biggest, the gnarliest, the meanest killers are the ones that are grounded, that have the most groundedness about them.
Yeah.
For instance, your mom, she comes from a house where there was plenty to eat. She comes from a house where she was getting great grades. She was taught at a young age in these private, Catholic schools how to learn how important it was, being seasoned for college, goes to Stanford.
Had
totally opposite lives. Totally.
Yeah.
And she got bigger fangs than anybody from the street I've ever run into. Because I always used to be like, I'm from the streets, at least my streets, Vegas, and I'm coming to chop you down. You're pretty boy from Cali that has a clean house and a maid. I'm going to chop you down. And I did a lot of them.
Yeah.
There was a lot of them that were soft and that I did chop down. And the ones from the streets weren't necessarily meaner than the ones that weren't from the streets. And I learned that fast when I met Kerri. I was like, dude, she's as hungry as me.
Was it?
And she doesn't have to
that
be.
one of the most attractive things?
100%.
Yeah. Because it's almost like wait, what the fuck? How is this possible, right?
Oh, the record scratch. I'm like,
right. That's so sick.
You want to work out as hard as I do? Like, I thought people that were hungry only work that hard.
Yeah.
That are in the Rocky Balboa gyms, not the ones that had a car when they were 16.
I mean, it's
because I certainly didn't know what that was like.
Right. Well, I think it's like, it's the lion in her heart and the lion in your heart. It's like your heart. It doesn't matter, what, if you were raised with everything easy for you versus, I come from your side. I'm the fucking, tons of adversity in childhood.
Yeah.
You know? And after that, but it's the meeting of hearts. It's a certain kind of heart in a person that I think it doesn't matter. All that other shit doesn't matter. You either have that in your heart, and that's who you are, and that's what is going to be dominating your expression in life in all areas, or not. So that had to have been,
how often that it's watered, and how often is it able to get that water?
Yeah.
How often does the seed get watered? If you have it instilled with you, if you come from the streets, because it can go the other way too. You can become a badass gangster.
Yeah.
You can become a criminal with a lot of passion and you're hard, or you can spin it. And with someone like Kerri, her adversity was different. I mean, I always laugh. I'm like, I think the first time I kissed a girl with my older brother and I played spin the bottle, I was 12 years old. Like, and Kerri's like, I didn't kiss anyone till college. And I'm just like, that's just another, so it's so crazy. She's like, I wasn't ready for you. If we would have met in high school, we would have been, I was like, I would have loved you because you're you have everything. Like, what I always thought, what I did think was that there was a mountaintop that you get to and you put your feet up and you're like, made it, suckers. Like, and there's no such thing. And that's a beautiful thing. Oh my gosh, the world would be horrific if there was. But Kerri really taught me that lesson of someone that came from the dual parent house, that went to Stanford, that had a car when she was 16, went to a Catholic school. Like, just the more things that matched up, it was like, whoa, man. Like, and you're still hungry? I thought like that you would probably be soft,
Sure.
And she is certainly not that. And there's a lot of other people that I know that are certainly not soft. I mean, I always look at the athletes. Now I'm looking for them. Tom Brady's. What was your house like? What was Peyton Manning? What was, Richard Sherman? How did his mom raise him? There's different dynamics, but the one that is most consistent is mom and dad and a good foundation and grounded in a good education. Michael Jordan. The badasses have the biggest fangs, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that's the ultimate goal. I would imagine if you want to be a parent, if you want to be a parent, ideally you want the environment to be sound, and healthy to raise your kids. Doesn't always work out that way. But yeah, that
they can still go down a horrible road. No, for sure.
Oh,
yeah,
for sure.
Money don't. Yeah, it doesn't do that.
Well, yeah, it's so much more than money.
Yeah, it's not the money.
Yeah, no.
It's not having Lucky Charms in the fridge. That's not
Lucky Charms. That was my favorite. Hold up, like cold. Did you guys have this in your house? So
Lucky Charms?
Oh, no, wait, hold on. No, wait, actually. Wait, hold on.
No.
So in my family, because there's so many kids, right? And we grew up, our childhood was the mixture of, driving to school in Mercedes and there's no food in the house, So that duality. Yeah. And so this is all going back to the cereal. We're hungry. We're athletes. Like, I was a competitive runner, right? My brothers, and we're always just moving and active. And so the fucking cereal was life. Like, literally.
Oh, yeah.
Last bowl. Did you have last bowl battles?
Oh, there was no battle. It was you got it or there was grape nuts, cornflakes. And I mixed water with butter one time to try to make milk. Yeah. I was like, ooh, if I take this butter and put it in water, maybe I can come up with some milk. When I was like, I don't know, 9 years old. I mean, that was...
You were trying chemistry.
I want to tell you that
so
one more thing about the kid thing is that my kids are in sports now. And when you go to sports and you rub shoulders with these parents or coaches, the coaches said to me last year, this team we're playing is from Compton. They're hungry and this is all they have. And I'm like, what? like telling me what I thought when I was a kid. I'm like, my kid lives near the beach in a really nice house because we busted ass. And if we didn't teach him how important it was to work hard and to be doing what he is doing, if we didn't teach that, we wouldn't be doing ourselves a favor, and certainly not him. And so the last thing I'm going to tell my kid is that kid's hungrier than you because he doesn't have socks with no holes in them. My kid wears his socks with holes in them all the time because he doesn't give a shit. That's what I want.
Yeah.
I wish I didn't care. My kids are like, Dad, I'm like, dude, do you want some new cleats? He's like, no, Dad, these are awesome. And they're banged up.
Yeah.
And the coach is like, look at these kids' cleats. And he's like talking about, I know what he's trying to do. He's trying to get them to be hungry.
Yeah.
I'm like, this ain't the time.
Right.
You tell these kids, I don't care that you didn't eat a ham sandwich with the crust cut off.
Right.
I'm kicking your ass.
Yeah.
In soccer, homeboy. Like,
Yeah.
that's what I want my kids to be. I want them to have, if they, whatever, they have the things that they want, but they respect it and they're still dragons.
Yeah.
That's the dream. That's the dream.
The dragons. Do you watch Game of Thrones?
No.
I don't either. I just was curious.
Someone told me that
Sunday and people are all like,
it's huge. Oh, is this the day?
I guess it's like, it's the day. I don't know. I can't with TV.
I don't watch Game of Thrones. I live it.
You
Roxy.
Seriously,
No.
you guys are all dragons.
You're a dragon.
I mean, I would like to think I am. I mean, I'm wearing the dragon on me, right? My soul.
Bruce Lee, yeah.
Yeah, dude. The dragon. So, okay, so you meet your dragon. I mean, you meet your golden dragon.
6 feet of sunshine.
Seriously. What do you think is the greatest thing? I feel like an asshole asking you these questions, but I'm really curious. What do you think is one of the greatest things that Kerri has done to inspire your personal evolution?
She has probably been the most persistent and diligent person I have ever seen or been around in my life or ever known in all aspects. I mean, she can work and slave away, but still, in her mind be connected to, us. She's in Brazil right now, and she, her love, and it's not with her, it's not out of sight, out of mind, which most humans, you kind of, for me, I get prepared for these trips where I'm just like, it's just go time. Like, I got to put my head down. I got to keep things on point here at the house. I got to make sure everything's tight, bills, the kids, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I can't even think of the list, but when she's away, my goal is to burn time with positivity and just working, keeping my head down. And when she's away, she has a lot of downtime, but she works her ass off on the road and is able to stay connected mentally, even if we don't, like, sometimes she's just weird hours. You don't get to connect.
For sure.
So you don't FaceTime or talk on the phone or anything for 2 days or whatever it is. And even when you do, the kids we're doing something, or it's really loud or windy outside, we can't really talk. She's got to go to bed. She's got to play the next day. But she does a good job of staying connected regardless of how many balls she has in the air. She's just an example of somebody. I would think that the greatest thing about Kerri is if we were all plants in the world, she would be a redwood that grows and grows and grows. It grows in diameter and it grows in height. And she is relentlessly growing in her life. She is probably the best person she could possibly be from the day she was born till now, and striving to do better every single day. And she does it by example. And, doesn't mean she can't be a snot once in a while. For sure. But I don't want her.
She's fucking tired.
Right. For her sake, I don't want to paint her as this perfect thing. But she really is somebody that is consistently driving to better to maximize her potential. That's probably the number one thing that
it inspires you.
Oh yeah,
further
you can't help but be like,
yeah.
well, my wife's gonna be jacked up and ripped like that. By the time she comes home, I better cut out the donuts, you know. No, but not just aesthetically. I can't look. It's not the look. It's just it's the healthy life that she lives. That you're like, yeah, dude.
No, but just like
I
in
gotta
the
stay on
capableness,
point.
I feel like I said today. I was like, oh my god, how am I gonna get this all done? Like I've got this much time, and I've got this stack of things that I gotta do, and we're the same. Like I don't half-ass. It's all ass. I'm all in with all ass in everything. So I don't. I need to be my 100 and in everything that I'm doing. But I was literally thinking, I'm like. I guess it's for me, it's a source of inspiration where I feel like, look at your best friend. Look what she fucking does. So if this is hard, it's okay. You got this.
Oh yeah. Yeah, relating to her for sure. She's an inspiration. I mean, people are always like, Kerri's such an inspiration, or that she fortunately there's that platform out there that people can get to know her, but her friends and family like you are the ones that we get the most, out of it.
From it. Oh man. I wonder what she would say about, I'm going to ask her the same question on the podcast. Because essentially it's not just the greatest thing about her. It's like the thing that has made you become a better version of yourself by witnessing, which still connects to what you said, but unless you want to throw something else out there.
No. What makes me, what part of her brings the best out of me?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot. There's
over how many years now?
Forgiveness. There's a lot of things that you have to have as a couple in this life. And if you don't have them, you will probably not be a couple anymore. There's some things, and forgiveness is a huge one. Forgiveness, understanding, just the commitment to each other, being able to fight with and for each other when shit's not going right. She has all those traits, and I have a lot of those traits as well. But yeah, I don't know. She's just she's relentless. That's inspiring alone. Relentless at everything she does, and it's all for the good. She's never doing anything to try to get fame or money or power. It's all out of the goodness of her heart, and that's where the 6 feet of sunshine. But, like I said, do not underestimate the teeth of that dragon. It looks real sweet and nice, but she's got some bite, and that's what I love.
Of course.
I love that.
Well, you have bite, and I know, you are her everything. Like I know personally as one of her very best friends, like it's almost like her kryptonite is, it's the fucking time away from you guys. It's gnarly for her, right? She's gnarly. Like it literally,
We're her kryptonite and her cape.
Yeah, well, that's how my family is.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, like, it makes so much sense, right? Because it's the thing you care about the most that could devastate you the most, right? In a way. Right?
Oh, yeah,
so
for sure.
Being away from, being away from you guys, I know is the hardest thing. And you're her everything. I mean, it's funny because you talk about her fire, and yes, Kerri has fucking fire and fangs. I don't know. It made me think about my favorite time that I've ever watched you play volleyball. And I didn't even grow up playing volleyball. Bear with me. Do the dance right now. But I obviously came to love volleyball from having you guys in my life. But do you know what I'm fucking talking about?
I remember Manhattan.
Dude. Hold on. Because Casey, that was such a rat. I mean, that's the year you guys both won. There were fucking hecklers in the crowd. I mean, you're like one of the best players to watch because you're so feisty and fiery. You're focused. It's not like, but like you let it out, and I relate to that. I have fun with that. And when there were hecklers in the crowd,
yeah.
it was on TV too.
The Raiders.
And I'm like, I'm gnarly for my people too, right?
Oh yeah.
Like, we're the same. We all have things. Like if you come near our people, like you're fucked. And so I hear them and I'm just like, but I'm watching you just be fiery. And yeah, so just kind of expanding on this topic of fire, because yes, your golden dragon is fire. And what does she call you? Fucking, I don't know. You guys can keep it to yourself, but
What does she call me? I can't think of. I don't think she has a.
What does she call you? Her everything. She's literally, those are words like. Casey.
Yeah, no. My nicknames that I was given in volleyball,
like
she did
Bunny.
not give me. No, that was the Wolverine. I was Casey the Kid. I was the White Dragon. The Brazilians call me the White Dragon. And yeah, she's. What does she call me? I don't know. I don't think she has a. We don't.
These are great because it's going to come back around when I do a podcast with her. What do you think is the greatest thing that? What are you most proud of? How many years has it been together? 17. You guys have been together, right? Yeah. I confuse you with my brother and his wife. It's like
18 years.
Okay, 18 years. What are you most proud of about your dynamic, your relationship over all these years, all the things that you guys have been through from day one where you guys were playing against each other, which is, by the way, it's so fucking rad. You met your wife playing against her. How many people can say that?
Yeah.
That's so sick.
Met her on the beach, hit a ball, and she almost took one off the face.
Wait, hold on. Let's paint this for a second. I want to go there for a second. Do you remember the temperature? Do you remember the weather?
Oh no, it was it was April. It was I believe March or April. It was a nice day in Huntington Beach. Misty May's mom asked if I could come over and hit some balls at the girls, and I was done training. And the day it was like 4. I mean, it was getting later in the day for sure. And anyway, I'm playing against them in the very last point. I go up as hard as I can to finish the game. And Misty was basically giving her a tryout. She had seen her play in the Olympics in 2000 and was like, we should bring that girl out to the beach and play next to me, and I'll play defense, blah, blah, with her dad and mom. And so the very last point comes up, and I see her pull off the net, which means it's an open net, and I'm just going to smash it as hard as I can. And I hadn't done that in the whole game we were playing, just because I was trying to get them. We were getting reps and stuff, and you don't do that. Yeah. So I was just going to bury this ball. And, being 24 years old, and I go up and I go to smash it, and she runs towards the net. And the ball bounces off her hands, which are covering her face, but she's trying to play defense on it. And I hit it as hard, pretty close to as hard as I can. It bounces off her and way towards the ocean. And I look at her like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I was like, hey, I come under the net. I'm like, dang, I didn't know you were going to run up and try to. She said, sorry for what? And I was like, well, okay. I looked at her. I was like, okay, all right, I guess I'm not. All right. And then she
That's fucking spicy.
Yeah.
Call it.
It was pretty guts, like wow, it was, it was one of those things. If I would have hurt her face or broke her wrist or something, I'd have been such an idiot. But she was like, no worries. She was there to battle, and it was like she wasn't there. That wasn't a move to impress Misty. It was her own, like, it was her.
Yeah.
It's who she was, and she was competing, period. And it wasn't like, even though she was trying out, she wasn't scared to not make the team, because this seemed like what she was going to do. Anyway, I met her 2 weeks later. I was doing sprints and burpees and push-ups and stuff on the beach, and I saw her doing the same thing, walked towards her, and she we started to talk. We ended up going to 24-hour fitness right there on Main Street in Huntington Beach and lifted weights together. And that was pretty much it. That was it.
That was the start of everything.
Yeah, it was the start of a lot of that. I can't believe it was.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so we've been married 15 years, December coming up. And, I think the coolest thing that we've done together as a couple we've hung on. literally hung on by like fingernails on the ledge.
Yeah.
And there's been times in our relationship where I thought it was done, thought it was over. I was on my part, I was pretty close to being done. And, you know, we hung in there. We did the work that needed to be done.
Yeah.
We got some outside help and some people to get involved. And I was like, what? Dude, you can't turn this train around. Like, it doesn't work like that. And they're like, well, if you do the work, you can. And I said, well, I know how to work a shovel and I know how to labor. So give me the work and I'll go do the homework. And we did the homework. She did her homework and nobody pointed a finger at the other. Although that was the case at times. This situation, we were able to turn the mirror on ourselves and came back stronger than ever. And
you did.
You still go have flashes of stuff happen, but you always know the work that you have to do is your own. And it's been really cool. That's one of the most impressive things about our relationship that I think is that we've both been able to survive some storms, a lot of storms.
Yeah, and thrive from them.
And then thrive, yeah. No, for sure. That's one of the...
Yeah, that's fucking...
That just makes you... It's like you're stronger and stronger and stronger because of it. It's like, yeah. Yeah.
Because you've been through shit. So
Yeah,
it's
you
like
become...
even if there's an argument or something coming, you're like, dude, we've been to the bottom. I mean, I imagine. I'm not...
Yeah, the roots are deeper into the ground now, for sure.
Yeah.
You think they're deep at certain times, and there's all kinds of reasons in this life or excuses or people that are like, well, it's sometimes you just get divorced, you know, and that's just the way it is. And it's true, but your own situation is unique. Although I talk to a zillion people about this situation, and we're all so the same, but so unique. And so, I don't know. Yeah, we have been resilient and made it through some gnarly shit, and it's been well worth it. I can't even believe it looking back. I tell people, I'm like, dude, you can fall out of love and you can fall back into love, and I'm telling you that you can be deeper in love than you ever were in your entire life with the same person that you think I don't ever want to be around. Or it's horrible to say that to right now, to even think that I was at that point. But I try to grab people and say, dude, I swear, trust me, you just have to do the work, man. You have to, like, and the work isn't, it's worth it, dude. It's worth it.
You have to feel like it's worth it. I mean, I feel like the main thing, you know, it's one part the work, but the real thing was that you both were down to do it.
I wasn't.
You
I wasn't.
weren't down to do the work.
No, I wasn't down. I was like non-believer.
But what made you then?
I said, are you telling me that if I do your homework that I can change the way that I feel right now? And he goes, yeah, you have to do the work. And I said, give me the work. Like, give me the work. Let me see this.
So it's like a curiosity.
And he goes, I'm
like,
not.
see if this is true.
Yeah. I was like, give me it. I'll show you. I'll show you that I'll do the work, and that this, you know. And then you do the work, and you become humbled, and you look in the mirror, and you're like, I'm an idiot. And she was out there doing the work herself.
Yeah, thinking the same thing. I'm an idiot. I'm sure.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I'm not speaking
I don't know.
for her.
No,
I'm
but
saying,
yeah,
like,
we came.
You had a realization individually.
Yeah.
About where you were, who you were being as Casey, the husband, as Casey, just the man, right? Period. And who she was being, you know, as your woman and as Kerri herself. Like, you had a deeper look into self, right?
Oh yeah. It's inevitable that it's just a matter of time for that mirror to come around. And it's if you're willing to stop it and look and really take note of it instead of just pushing it aside. Yeah. And there came a point to where you're like, oh my gosh, I gotta look. I'm looking in the mirror. I'm so stupid. Like, I've done so many things on my end to mess this up. I haven't done what I set out to do. Me, not looking at anything else. Me, what did you do? What are you responsible for? And that really hit me hard. And, you know, it really proved to be something special. And Kerri and I came back together through all of that and have been, you know, stronger because of it, without a doubt. Like, our roots are deeper now, and there's still nights where, you know, I have to sleep downstairs, or I want to sleep on the couch, or I'm frustrated. But it's different.
Yeah, for sure. It's almost like, so I have a friend in my life who we've been, you know, it's like over almost 3 decades of, you know, best friends, but we have divorced so many times. We have tried to not be friends. Like, oh, fuck it, ain't gonna work. We've gone on, like, I think the longest break was 2 years of no talking.
Whoa.
Yeah, dude. And then, but it's like you're entangled. When there's real history, when there's real love, you can get off alignment, and that's what essentially would happen with me and her, where we're just like, whoa, frequency's off, you know. And you can't, you could try and fight and keep it together, and we certainly did that, but like then there comes a point where it's like, yeah, no, we're just not on the same frequency. But then somehow, some way, we're doing our lives as individuals, and then, you know, the frequency kind of lines back up, and then here we are. And now it's like a joke, because after so many attempts to not be friends anymore, it's like, now when shit goes down, even if there is a timeout, we're like, yeah, whatever. We already know we're coming. And I'm talking like, maybe we're blocking each other. I've never blocked. She's the fucking blocker, but she would laugh if she heard it, because it's true. But the point that I'm trying to say is like, and I ain't talking about volleyball. I'm like, you fucking
block, delete
me? Really? I'm like, come on, man. But, you know, but the point is like, you can't, when there's really something there, there's really something there. And when you really go through things in life with someone, there's something to be said about that. And I think that holds you together sometimes, whether you like it or not. And, you know, I think that as we continue to, you know, go through life, all of us, right? I'm going to be 41 in a couple weeks, 43. It's like you really start to, not only are we learning as individuals and growing, but like just even understanding relationships and dynamics with other people, and then seeing what really matters and who sticks around and why. I don't know. All this stuff comes into play. I can bring it back to full circle to say that I imagine that now, when there are those moments, as heated as they might be, you're fucking sleeping in the garage or whatever. I'm just kidding.
Right. Backyard in the tent.
But like at the end of the day, you just know like it's a passing storm, because you've been in the fucking hurricane season.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot smaller of a. I mean, yeah, I
So. I saw you going to.
I was gonna say something about it, because it's an information thing. I think that when you have information about certain things, you believe in them. Some people have to see things to believe them. I don't. Like, if someone tells me that something is possible, it just enhances my belief in it so much. But some things you need information about, and something like this to snap somebody out of it. If there's one thing I could tell someone that's in a relationship, is that you won't believe it. Like you can't even. The information that I would want to give them is that it is possible to fall out of love and back with someone, and even more so, which is crazy. And because there's a lot of people that go, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out, dude. There's no way. Yeah. You're so far away. And then there's some work that you can do. And it's really fun to go look back for me and to have that situation in our lives that happened. Not fun, but it's reflective to be like, man, dude, that is incredible.
It really
that is
it's
incredible.
You guys get to be an example of it being possible. Like it's true.
Yeah, it's for
dope.
real. And if you do the work, so sometimes it's information that you need to have. I trusted somebody that said, yeah, if you do the work, and I said, okay, I'll take you up on that, doc.
Yeah.
And it wasn't sarcastic, like, I'll show you that I'll still feel the same way. But there was a trust.
Yeah.
That was like, okay, man, give me the work and I'll do it. And the first 12 days that I did the work,
Yeah.
I was the same on the 11th day. On the 12th day is when it turned like that. It was
really?
Yeah, the mirror turned. It was cool.
That's
The homework was write a letter to your wife every single day. And I'd write letters and I'd throw them away. And I was like, that's not sincere. And I'd write another one. I love you. I miss you. That's not sincere. And then I'd write another one and I'd try to do different things. And I just kept my attention on my wife. And I kept my attention. And by the 12th day, I remember I wrote this really cool letter. And I started to like cry and let it out. And I started to see what she was going through versus me. What am I going through? I started to see what she had to deal with rather than what I had to deal with. And I think she was doing the same thing. So that was a huge piece of the puzzle.
Huge.
It was rad. It was
Yeah.
I don't know how many letters away. It was more than 11 in those days because I wrote more than one attempt every day.
Yeah.
And I remember just being pissed. So anyway, that was one of the...
That's huge though. And it takes... I think the most important things to point out is that you had to be... You have to be so fucking honest, and that's where a lot of people either they just won't, they can't. You got to be honest. You got to be willing to see things that maybe you don't want to see, which is looking outside of the perspective of me.
Yeah.
Right.
And it
getting
takes
a bigger
time.
View. Yeah.
To crack the egg sometimes. Like took 12 days for me, isolation, 12 days.
Yeah.
And I finally was like, whoa. Because the 9th day I could have walked out and been like, no, it's been 9 days. I've been doing this. I can't write a letter, but it's the time that you put into. Yeah. Some people will bail. And someone doesn't tell you that. And then you just, okay, I'll write letter. And then the 12th day comes and it didn't happen. It didn't work.
Yeah.
You got to do it for 24 more days, or you got to how long are you willing to stay in that fight? I had a 3-month-old boy at that time.
Right.
And I was willing to be in that fight for, I don't know how much longer. I wouldn't hate to put a number on it, but I was willing to trust somebody that told me something that I didn't know. I trusted him. I did it, and holy smokes.
Yeah, and then here you are. And you guys are still doing work every day, just as I feel like, let's be real. I mean, to go through life with one, like, if anything, it's getting harder and harder, I think, to do life with one person in the society we live in, and like all the things that we, it's like back in the day, it was probably a lot easier, but I do think it could be harder now, it depends on who you are, what you're paying attention to, but just over your kids will most likely, I would put money on this, they'll do a great job at being great partners and essentially being consistent. When you're talking about, I could have quit on the 9th day, like my mind is thinking, yeah, but for anybody who's been listening to this, for everybody who's been listening to this entire episode, one thing that's very clear is like, when you're in something, you're in it, and you're not a quitter, and you're going to go forward, and you're consistent. Kerri's that way too, right? I mean, that was the thing, persistent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at times one's more persistent than the other.
For sure.
You transfer, it like flows back and forth, right?
Yeah.
One can carry more of the weight sometimes, and the other one can carry more of the weight other times. And I think that's cool, the flow of it. Yeah. For sure.
Okay, so I want to ask you a few more questions before I release you back to your babes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you are starting a podcast, which we talked about in broad strokes earlier, but I'm really inspired by this because, like I said, I really believe that it's something, as someone who has had, now I'm a year and a half deep into my podcast, and it just continues to inspire me more and more. The feedback I get, it's incredible. And I love connecting.
Yeah.
It's so funny. When I was in school, Casey, I got in trouble for talking. And I'm actually an introvert, but that's everyone who's been listening to my podcast is like, bitch, we know you're an introvert. No, but like, I actually got in trouble one time in school where my mom had to come sit in class with me because I would talk. But the thing was, again, going back to like how we learn and what we're inspired by, I just loved engaging. I love communicating. I love stories, right?
Sure.
So, and I feel like I just know that it's going to hit you in a similar way. So I'm excited. So, are you able to talk about some of the things that are inspiring you to start this podcast and what you want to get into a little bit?
Yeah. I think the symbol that I'm going to use for the artwork is a spiral. Because I want to go in and out of whoever I'm interviewing or talking to go back into adolescence and come back out to where they are, and to kind of relate the two, good or bad, good and bad.
Yeah.
I kind of want to stay in that zone. I want to know there's two reasons I want to do it. I mean, there's a lot of reasons I want to do it, but two of the main things I'm thinking of right now is that I want people that didn't have a great, warm, cozy home or had a different upbringing to understand and to be able to use some of the same things that they can get, that they are in charge of getting themselves grounded, getting their mind right, instead of using these crutches that people continue to use, that I didn't have my dad in the house and my mom smoked crack or whatever it was that people want to talk about, or my parents were just super wealthy and threw money at nannies and the nannies raised us. But I want everyone to just get information, and I'd like to provide it by talking to people that have either had really, really gnarly, rough upbringings or really great upbringings where their parents were involved and that were there for them, and give both sides of the equation information. All kinds of people, and I want people that are in their 40s and 60s to be able to reflect and go, wow, dude, I'm still young enough, I'm still alive to be able to apply some of these things, and maybe have them go back and look at their life on some of the things that they can do now, and maybe fix some relationships. But more so, I'm looking to have fun with it and get to know people and about their adolescence and how I can add it into my life, and what their father meant to them and their mother, what they applied in their life, so that I can give it to my kids.
That's dope.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, I'm fired up.
There's space for that. It's needed. It's going to be sick.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you. Okay. I have a few things. I want you to leave a time, kind of like a time capsule. What's a little love note that you want to leave for your kids right now? That maybe one day they'll listen. Hummingbird. Kerri is right. You guys have a hummingbird farm.
Then you're like, there's a huge hummingbird feeder right there on the outside. No,
to me.
I'm just kidding. Usually you go,
Kerri,
look, there's a hummingbird. It meant something. And then there's a huge honey feeder right up at top that's like the size of a truck. No, there's not. There's just hummingbirds here.
That's just so special to me for my own special reasons, but I just love it.
Yeah.
Wait, okay, so love it to your kids. Yeah, just like a little message to them.
Oh, Joey, Sundance, and Scout. Goodness. I hope that one day you can see how much your mother and father love you, even when we're grumpy, and all of the things that we do have meaning, and that you'll always have gratitude in this life and appreciate, whether you're healthy, wealthy, rich, or poor, that you can always try to find the light, and that you can have gratitude and believe in things that others may not, and that you love yourself in your life, and that you always know that you have people that love you, even if they're not around you, but they love you. If they're in heaven, or if we're still around, whatever it is, you have a lot of love. That is one excuse you can't use. You have a lot of love, but always love yourself and have gratitude and believe in yourselves and give back to others. Very, very important. I love you. Beijos. Beijo, beijo. Ciao. That's what I would tell them.
I love it. Isn't that like a little time capsule? With
Yeah.
a love note, you know?
Yeah.
Because I'm Auntie Roxy. Like, we're doing this in co-life together. So
That's right.
I'm going to drop this one day on them and be like, hey, guys, guess what? Like, Back to the Future. What a fucking great movie.
That's a great little archive you have. I like that. That's a good idea. Yeah. Time capsule.
Time capsule.
I like that.
Thanks.
That's cool. That's what it's all about. People need to know our stories. That's the beauty of today, is that we're able to tell our story and people are able to look back and go, wow,
yeah,
that's what my dad or cousin or uncle or whatever was doing. That's super cool. Or
totally.
That was really dorky or whatever.
Whatever, right?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. They get to see it.
It's so good.
Yeah.
So before I get to my final question, I'm going to throw a few words at you, and I just want you to tell me what they mean to you.
No, that's fine.
No, your eyes.
I got it.
It was so serious.
It's hard to not premeditate.
Video already. I'll get on that. Okay, ready?
Ready.
You can take your time. Okay, challenge.
Challenge. Life is a challenge, and I appreciate that. I'm thankful that it's a challenge, and I'd have it no other way, knowing that that's how it is now. It's exciting. You never know what you're gonna get.
You don't, right? You gotta
It's a challenge,
like...
and you have to be able to be like water, and flow around the challenges and be in them and push against them, and it's really cool.
I love that. As I grab Bruce on my shirt, love.
Love is holding on when you don't want to. Love is family. Love is one of the, if not the most important thing on this planet.
I agree. It's like the most powerful force, truly. It sounds like a fairy tale, but actually I think it's the most, powerful force of energy. Ready for the next one? You're like ready. You're like I'm throwing you balls. Like I'm serving to you. Failure
is all a part of it. Failure is all a part of it. You have to be willing. Someone was telling me the other day, you can't worry about what people think. And I'm like, no shit. That's what everybody says. Do you really? Can you really not care what anyone thinks? It's really hard. And what that means is that, can you step outside of something that you want to do and not be worried about what the world might think as failing? For instance, having a podcast.
Yeah.
Can you listen to yourself and not be like I've been doing little test runs here and there, and I don't want to listen to myself. And then it's like, but I'm not concerned about like the things that'll go through your head. I don't sound smart, or I don't sound intelligent, or my voice sounds weird, and why did I cut him off and do this? Put it out there, man. I'm going for it. And the people that I listen to constantly say that. And to really live it is not as easy as it is said.
Yeah.
Like,
sure.
It's hard to do, but really what you have to do is you have to be like, fuck it. I don't care. I've failed plenty in my life. If people want to look at, well, it's not failure because you're trying to get to, no, I've wrecked and crashed, and I've been thrown from the car and survived, and I'm so glad. Like, I don't want to do things that are life-threatening. Like, and getting in a UFC ring, as you know, is life-threatening. You could die. Doing a podcast and putting it on the air for people to criticize is not life and death, but it's very scary.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't want it to be. So that makes me want to chase it more.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, okay, I'm going to go do it. I'm going to sound like a dumbass. I'm going to put it out there, and I really don't care.
No matter
I'm going to get a lot of information for myself for it. So greed.
And also, you're always going to be the hardest critic of yourself, right? And
sure.
You don't know how people are going to respond to you. What you might think is like, oh my God, I sucked. Is like somebody's like, oh my God, that episode was a game changer for me. Thank you so much. And on top of that, you will only get better. But we know, and you know this, I mean, it's like, I think sport really lends us this wisdom is that you only get better through practice.
Yeah.
Right? Repetition.
Yeah,
So,
the right repetition.
The right repetition.
You have to be tactful in it, but yeah, failure is a part of it. It just is. It has to be.
Sick. Success.
Success is just constantly striving to be a better you, I think, in your life. Even though, some days you might not be doing that, but like it's a conscious thing that you never let that go. I want to be a better person than I was yesterday, tomorrow, and you're constantly striving to be a better person. And for me, that is success to me in life, because if I am the best person that I can possibly be on this earth, the people around me, my children, my wife, my friends, will get the best me, and they will get everything that I'm supposed to give them on my side, which makes them great, which will inspire or help them to be the best that they can be too. So, right?
Hell yeah.
Iron
just the word
sharpens iron.
Yeah, and everybody, because we're conduits of energy. So, yes, your inner circle immediately gets it, but you're also impacting the world, in the greatest way as well, right?
Yeah.
It's like you're walking around and you're being this greatest expression of yourself. You're not, I'll just leave it there.
Sure.
You're being the greatest expression of yourself. That is a contribution to the world.
I agree. Yeah, it is.
Beautiful. I love that.
It's a ripple.
That you just framed it like that. Yeah.
Ripple effect.
Okay, so ready for the final question?
Yes.
The final. Okay. I want to keep singing that song.
The final countdown.
Dude, it's Mother's Day. What do you want to leave to your beautiful golden dragon? What's a love note that you can... It's not going to be a little time capsule, because we know that she's going to be the first download to this.
I did. I left it on her card. I wrote her a card yesterday, and I can share it with you if I can remember it.
Well, no. Okay, well, then I want you to tell something that she hasn't heard yet. What's a love note that you can give to your beautiful wife while she's away, that when she hears this...
I can't come up with something. It has to be that, because she'll keep that card, but it's okay. Actually, she can hear it again.
Great.
She can hear it again.
It'll all be, because it'll be great
it's fine.
too. Your kids, when they hear the time capsule, I'll wait till they're old enough to handle Auntie Roxy's mouth.
That's today. They're watching Naked and Afraid while we're doing the podcast. I'm getting them numb to nudity, because the teenage girls that are wearing bikinis down there, I'm like, oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, it's no.
Oh, Scout's gonna wear granny bottoms for the swimsuit.
Dude,
no, she's not.
Scout's gonna wear whatever she wants, because she already does. She's incredible. She has better style than all of us.
She does.
Yeah. Okay. So please then.
I said it's Mother's Day, and my wife's favorite thing on the planet are cards. When me or her mom or her dad or her young children write her cards, like, she loves that from us. And so I was writing the card, and I said, I don't write the same old card anyway. I never really do that, but so I always try to come up with something new. I said, you're as smooth as Sade. You're as fast as Muhammad Ali.
Oh, this is porn for her ears.
And you are as precise as Bruce Lee. Oh. And you, I'm trying to think. I said, you are as touching as Freddie Mercury. And there's 5. Pretty sure there was 5.
Jordan.
Wait for Jordan. Oh, and you're as loving and nurturing and beautiful and fierce as Mother Earth. I love you. Happy Mother's Day.
That's dope. That's amazing.
So those are all my favorite. I mean, like Sade's my favorite. Bruce Lee's her favorite. Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
She loves, you guys love.
That is a sick dinner party right there.
Yeah. And then obviously Mother Earth can completely wreck your house and turn it upside down and throw it in the ocean. And at the same time, it can give you so much light and energy and good and all of that. And Kerri is very much like
a force.
She's a force. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I appreciate it. And I was letting her know that. So I took some time to put those little things together.
You did good, homie. I'm just telling you. Like, okay. You did good.
Yeah, I hope she liked it.
I know. She was just... Did she open it in front of you?
I think it's in the trash. I saw it today. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No. She's, I think she told me she loved it. I don't know when she read it though. I think maybe when she left. She writes me cards. She thinks I don't like them because I don't open them because I want to save it for a time where I really am like in it and reading it and I love it because she can write like you wouldn't believe. She's one of the greatest writers on the planet and that could be her next move. I don't know, but she should.
I believe it. She speaks so well.
Yeah. I mean, her vocabulary is nuts. And so I save them for when I get on planes and stuff. If I'm traveling and I have them and she thinks I don't like them.
Oh, does she really think that? Or
does I'm going to stop writing you because you don't even read them. You don't like them. And I'm like, you don't know. I treat them like trophies.
That's her cute way of saying, I want you to read it now. I want you to acknowledge it now because I loved making it for you and I want you to get what I am giving you. And you are like, hold on, this is are you going to tell me how to do my gift right now?
Yeah. No, I save it. It's like a Giorgio Armani suit. You don't wear it. You put it in the closet for a trophy. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
That's amazing. Well, okay. Is there anything else that you haven't said that maybe is something you'd want to share before we wrap out?
No, we're good.
Okay.
I love it.
Feel like,
I was telling you the other day, your podcast should be Rocks and Roll.
That's amazing.
I love it. Good job.
Rocks off.
Keep it up. Yeah.
It's like, it is the vision. It's the thing. It's a calling. It's a summoning. It's a home. And I know it. And I'm too real and too connected. I know the difference, when it's like, it's not fleeting. Not to say things can't change, but this is just something that there's so much challenge, just like the upkeep, with the rest of life and all that. And, until it really takes flight and there's like you pay to have a podcast straight up. Right. Yeah. And so, but it's a labor of love, like every single second. I have never had a podcast where I left and I was like, well, that was a waste of my time or feeling anything but inspired. Yeah. Honestly. And I'm not saying that can't happen down the line. I'm sure there will
call me in 15 minutes. That didn't work out.
It's been so rad. And you know what? We have so much more to do. And that's the best part. I love you. Thank you so much. I love you guys, your family. You mean so much to me. You guys know that.
Yeah, you too.
It's like, it's a privilege, truly. It's like, it's really, really special. It's fun when I have no words because I'm a wordy motherfucker. And, Kerri and I were doing something, recording the other day, and it's when I get to this point where I'm trying to express the love and the appreciation that I hold for people like you guys. And I just... I'm at a loss. So, and that's like enough said.
That's when your intro music starts coming in and you're talking over it. That's when it starts to get, here comes the intro and it's like that rad background music.
Is anyone there anymore? Yeah. They're like, we
check 1, 2. You didn't record it. You didn't hit record.
Oh my God, don't, you just scared me. All right. I'm going to let you get back to your beautiful kids. Thank you so much. I'm going to make sure, even though you're not, all about the social media, but I know that there's going to be a lot of people who want to.
Yeah, come check it. Yeah, come check it out. So you can find me. I'm out there. You can find my wife posts stuff all the time, so you can find me out there.
Yeah, I know. I got you.
Tag me, tweet me,
Casey Thomas. Is it Casey Thomas Jennings?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Casey
okay,
Thomas
it's all in the
Jennings.
show notes.
Straight out of Vegas.
Straight out of Vegas.
Thanks, Rox. Love you.
Love you too.
Thanks so much for tuning into this episode, you guys. If you loved it, please share it on your social. Throw it up on your Instagram stories and tag me. I'm at Black Belt Beauty. I am also at Roxy Look, RoxyLook. I love connecting with you guys. This is a conversation that I want to just continue growing with you guys. So if you feel inspired to hit me up, do so in that space. I always enjoy hearing from you. If you'd like to support this podcast, you can do so by rating it and reviewing it via iTunes. It's such supportive help, you guys. It really helps the visibility of this podcast. So I appreciate and thank you in advance for doing that. And last but not least, if you are interested in starting your own podcast, or perhaps you already have one and you need help with, editing your audio and the production of it, I cannot recommend my producers enough. Resonate Recordings, you guys, they are the bomb. I rely on them. They are an absolute supportive tool to me and my podcast. So check them out and let them know that Black Belt Beauty sent you. And on that note, you guys, I'm signing off with all my love and always looking forward to catching you on the next.